In the early 1980s, the polished dream of pop stardom collided with the grit of survival. Tina Turner sat in a Capitol Records tower and called a song terrible, then recorded it anyway, her way. Gloria Gaynor wore a surgical brace and hand-delivered her lyrics to club DJs, bypassing the label that wanted to bury her. Chaka Khan issued an ultimatum: release my single or lose me entirely. These weren't gentle negotiations, they were confrontations. The industry had spent decades teaching women to sing as objects, decorative, submissive, supporting someone else's narrative. These artists refused. They sang themselves as subjects, as agents of desire and survival, as people who own their own stories. What you're about to hear are the songs that prove the old Motown rules were already broken. Let's start at the top. At number 14, Stevie Wonder's Superstition captures a moment when synthesizers began replacing the warm orchestrations that once defined the Motown sound. But this story isn't about Wonder. It's about Tina Turner sitting in that Capitol Records tower in May 1984, watching executives dismiss her as obsolete. Roger Davis, the A&R man, pushed her toward What's Love Got to Do With It, a song she initially called terrible. Turner wore denim to those sessions, refusing the glamour the label demanded. She took that Yamaha synthesizer's cold digital pulse and bent it to her will, slowing the tempo, roughening her voice, turning a pop confection into an indictment. The material evidence: a drum machine that sounded nothing like the JBs, and a woman who refused to disappear. Next, we meet the architect of desire itself, a man who rewrote the rules of intimacy in the studio. Number 13 belongs to Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On, recorded in August 1973 at Hitsville West, but the real collision happened between Gaye and the Motown machine itself.
I said, ooh, baby, I've been waiting so long.
The label had codified the Charm School protocol, a set of rules that demanded female performers remain decorative, submissive, non-threatening.
Well, I've been loving you.
Ed Townsend originally wrote this song about political revolution and addiction, but Gaye rewrote it entirely. Here's the radical part. He opened the vocal booth to Janice Hunter, the woman in the room, and abandoned his scripted melody to follow her physical cues, her verbal reactions, her autonomy.
You said, Marvin, baby, this evening.
The studio lights dimmed. The recording became a conversation between two people claiming agency in the same space.
Right now. Wait a minute, baby, wait a minute.
Unlike Tina Turner's later fight against erasure, Gaye chose collaboration, but only after dismantling the label's blueprint for control. The next artist we meet refused collaboration altogether. Number 12 marks Lionel Richie's Hello, recorded in October 1983 at A&M Studios, but the song nearly died in the hands of its own producer.
I love you.
James Anthony Carmichael called it corny, unfinished, a betrayal of Richie's funk pop brand.
Are you somewhere feeling lonely?
The label agreed. This vulnerable ballad didn't fit the aggressive persona they'd marketed.
'Cause I wonder where you are.
Then Brenda Harvey Richie, his wife, overheard the melody and demanded he complete it.
Someone loving you. Tell me how to win.
She forced the track onto the album despite institutional resistance. A Yamaha DX7 synthesizer, patch E.
And I wonder what you do. Are you somewhere?
Piano 1 created that isolated artificial sonic space. Nothing like the warm wall of sound orchestration that once defined the era.
I love you so much. I love you.
The music video reframed the entire dynamic. A blind woman sculptor became the active artist, not the passive muse.
Someone loving you. Tell me how to win your heart.
The visual subversion matched the sonic one. Richie's wife intervened where the label resisted, proving that sometimes power comes from the margins. Number 11 is Chaka Khan's Ain't Nobody, recorded in May 1983 at Warner Brothers in North Hollywood. And this is where a vocalist weaponized her own silence. Warner Brothers executives refused to release the track as a single. They wanted traditional R&B ballads, not synthesized post-disco. Khan issued an ultimatum: release Ain't Nobody or I withhold my participation entirely. She meant it. David Hawk Walensky's Prophet 5 synthesizer patch created a bass line that displaced the entire live rhythm section, centering the drum machine as the heartbeat. The label capitulated. Unlike Marvin Gaye's collaborative reimagining or Lionel Richie's wife-driven intervention, Khan's power came from her refusal to negotiate. She understood that her voice was the irreplaceable instrument, and the label needed her more than she needed them. The next artist we meet would face a different kind of institutional erasure. Number 10 belongs to Bill Withers' Ain't No Sunshine, but we're really talking about Tina Turner again, recorded in May 1984 at Mayfair Studios in London. Roger Davies and Capitol Records had already written her off as a nostalgia act, incapable of a solo pop comeback. Turner called the song a piece of crap, but she recorded it anyway, her way. She stripped the soft tone from Terry Britton's demo and delivered a raspy, aggressive take in a single take, asserting dominance over an arrangement designed to soften her. When she's gone. The Oberheim synthesizer hummed beneath her voice, but she refused to mirror the demo's wimpy structure. Compare this to Chaka Khan's ultimatum just months earlier. Khan fought before recording, while Turner fought during it, remaking the song in real time. Leave the young thing alone. Both women understood that the label's preference for vulnerability was actually a demand for diminishment. MTV's new visual marketing policy had shifted the entire industry. High-concept personas now mattered more than traditional R&B performance. Young thing alone, but ain't no sunshine when she... Turner weaponized this shift. The next artist we meet would refuse the industry entirely. Number 9 is Sade's Smooth Operator, recorded in October 1983 at Power Plant Studios in London. And this is where an artist refused to be separated from her own vision. Portrait Records demanded a radio-friendly bubblegum image, but Sade issued a non-negotiable demand: the band stays or I don't sign. She wouldn't accept a solo contract without Sweetback. The label capitulated. A vintage 1950s Neumann U47 microphone captured her vocal in complete isolation. Zero reverb, maximum intimacy, maximum authority. That dry vocal technique forced listeners into her presence without the softening effects of studio reverb. The UK Video Recordings Act of 1984 had just shifted the industry towards cinematic high-concept music videos, allowing female artists to curate their own visual iconography as protagonists, not background props. Sade understood this moment and seized it. Unlike Tina Turner's confrontational remaking of a song she initially rejected, Sade refused the song entirely until her conditions were met. The next artist we meet would face the deepest institutional resistance of all. Number 8 is the song that changed everything. Tina Turner's What's Love Got to Do With It, recorded in May 1983 at Capitol Records Tower in Los Angeles. Roger Davies and the entire executive board had already rejected it as terrible and wimpy pop. They saw Turner as a has-been, a nostalgia act over 40 years old. Terry Britten had written it as a delicate pop ballad, but Turner refused the pretty melody. She demanded a reggae-influenced tempo, something with grit and cynicism. The white Yamaha DX7 synthesizer became her instrument of transformation. She slowed the drum machine, roughened her vocal register, and stripped away every decorative element. She recorded it in one aggressive take. The lyric, "What's Love Got to Do With It?" became an indictment of the industry itself, not a love song. MTV's launch in 1981 had already begun shifting the industry from passive radio voices to high-impact visual personas. Turner's raspy delivery and lean arrangement proved that a woman over 40 could command the lens. The Grammy category shifts of 1984 would soon acknowledge female rock vocalists as distinct commercial powerhouses. But Turner had already won that fight in the studio. The next artist we meet would face a different kind of erasure entirely. Number 7 is Roberta Flack's Killing Me Softly with His Song, recorded in 1972. But the real story happened on a TWA flight from Los Angeles to New York City. Lori Lieberman, the original artist, had written the song on an airplane sick bag. Pencil scribbled lyrics inspired by a Don McLean concert. She recorded it first, but the producers, Charles Fox and Norman Gimbel, controlled the narrative. In all my dark despair. And Roberta Flack heard the song and demanded Charles Fox's phone number. She called him directly. Flack understood that her voice could inhabit the song in a way Lieberman's couldn't. Not because Lieberman lacked talent, but because the industry had already decided Flack's voice was worth marketing. Flack's version became the definitive one, and Lieberman's original disappeared into contractual invisibility. The U.S. Senate had just passed the Equal Rights Amendment in March 1972, but the music industry hadn't received the memo. Flack's direct intervention seized control of a narrative that wasn't hers to begin with, proving that sometimes survival meant claiming someone else's story.
Killing me softly.
The next artist we meet would refuse to be claimed at all. Number 6 is Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive, recorded in October 1978 at Mom and Pop's Company rehearsal studio in Los Angeles. And this is where an injured woman rewrote the entire purpose of a song. Gaynor wore a surgical neck brace during the session, a spinal injury from a stage fall, but she refused to stop recording. Freddie Perrin and Dino Ficaris, the producers, had relegated I Will Survive to B-side status, intending Substitutes as the priority single. Gaynor issued a direct demand: frame this as a personal anthem of survival, or I won't record it. She then hand-delivered copies of the lyrics to club DJs, bypassing the label's marketing strategy entirely. The Disco Demolition Night backlash was already underway, a cultural movement rooted in anti-black and anti-queer sentiment. Gaynor understood that the collective dance floor escapism of disco was collapsing, and she reframed the song as an individualistic survival narrative. Unlike Roberta Flack's seizure of another artist's song, Gaynor seized control of her own narrative before the label could bury it. Unlike Tina Turner's aggressive remaking of a rejected track, Gaynor's power came from her refusal to accept the label's original vision entirely. The next artist we meet would face a different kind of institutional pressure altogether. Number 5 is James Brown's Get Up, I Feel Like Being a Sex Machine, recorded in March 1970 at King Studios in Cincinnati, Ohio. And this is where a band leader became a dictator. The JBs, Brown's veteran lineup, including Maceo Parker, had demanded payment for their work. Unpaid wages and fines had accumulated for years. Brown's response was brutal. He fired the entire band hours before the session and replaced them with teenagers, the pacemakers, including Bootsy and Catfish Collins. You're either on the bus or you're off the bus, Brown declared. Catfish Collins operated the Vox Cry Baby Wah Wah pedal, creating the first prominent use of that effect on a James Brown funk recording. The 1970 U.S. postal strike had just collapsed traditional communication and logistics infrastructure, heightening a climate of labor defiance across the Black American workforce. Brown's decision to replace his band was simultaneously an act of creative control and labor exploitation, a contradiction that defined the era. Unlike the female artists we've met who fought against institutional erasure, Brown fought against institutional demands for fair wages. The next artist we meet would face a different kind of institutional invisibility. Number 4 is Luther Vandross's Never Too Much, recorded in March 1981 at Media Sound Studios in New York City. And this is where a session singer refused to remain invisible. Epic Records executives saw Vandross as a backup vocalist, incapable of solo marketability. The institutional belief was that Male R&B vocalists required a macho or street persona, not the feminized vulnerability and meticulous self-production control Vandross demanded.
Opened up your heart and you told me to come and go.
He rejected $500,000 in session fees to self-produce his debut album. A 1968 Guild Starfire 4 electric guitar sat in the studio, but Vandross' real instrument was his voice, overdubbed multiple times to create a choral effect, a technique he called the Vandross vocal stack.
You make my heart scream and holler. Love is a gamble and I'm so...
He stored a 110-piece wardrobe of custom beaded gowns and suits in a climate-controlled facility, understanding that visual presentation was inseparable from sonic identity. The 1979 Disco Demolition Night had forced black artists to pivot from disco to urban contemporary, and Vandross seized this moment to redefine what male vulnerability could sound like in a commercial context. Unlike the female artists who fought against the label's demands for softness, Vandross claimed softness as his power.
I still remember in the days when I was scared to touch you.
The next artist we meet would transform collective joy into commercial dominance. Number 3 is Kool and the Gang's Celebration, recorded in August 1979 at Media Sound Studios in New York City. And this is where a band nearly collapsed before achieving its greatest moment.
It's a celebration. Celebrate.
D-Light Records was financially stagnant, creatively exhausted, trapped in traditionalist R&B production tropes.
It's time to come together. It's up to you.
Ronald Bell issued a declaration: this is going to be the song of the decade.
So bring your good times and your laughter too.
He recruited J.T. Taylor as vocalist, shifting the entire band's identity from instrumental funk to vocal pop dominance.
Let's celebrate. Come on now.
Emer Deodato composed the arrangement on a Fender Rhodes MKY, using high-frequency vocal compression to center Taylor's voice with absolute clarity.
Let's celebrate. It's all right.
A Quranic verse inspired the composition, a spiritual underpinning that gave the celebration its transcendent quality.
You, what's your pleasure? Everyone.
The Disco Demolition Night backlash had created an industry-wide Disco Sucks campaign rooted in anti-black and anti-queer sentiment.
Dedication to last throughout the years. So bring your good.
Celebration arrived as a direct counter-narrative, joy as resistance, collective pleasure as defiance.
What's your pleasure? Everyone around.
Unlike James Brown's authoritarian control or Luther Vandross' self-produced vulnerability, Kool and the Gang's power came from collaborative transformation, a band remaking itself in real time.
And your laughter too. We gon' celebrate your.
The next artist we meet would face the deepest institutional pressure of all. Number 2 belongs to the Jackson 5's ABC, but we're really talking about Tina Turner again in May 1982 at the Ritz in New York City. Capitol Records had already written her off as unmarketable, a solo rock act over 40 years old with no commercial viability. The Oberheim Obiza synthesizer created a cold, clinical rhythm track designed to strip the soul object warmth from her vocal, a technical strategy meant to diminish her presence. Turner's response was a single aggressive vocal take that recentered the lyric as an indictment of the industry rather than a pop ballad. She told Roger Davies, "I'm not doing that song," then recorded it anyway. Her way. MTV's launch in 1981 had shifted the entire industry from passive radio voices to high-impact visual personas capable of commanding the lens. Turner understood this shift and weaponized it. Unlike the collaborative reimagining of Marvin Gaye or the self-produced vulnerability of Luther Vandross, Turner's power came from her refusal to accept the label's terms while simultaneously refusing to walk away. She would remake the industry on her own terms. The final artist we meet would blur the boundaries between masculine and feminine entirely. Number 1 is Prince's Purple Rain, recorded live in August 1983 at First Avenue Club in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And this is where gender itself became irrelevant. Warner Brothers Records was skeptical of Prince's insistence that Apollonia Kotero and the Revolution be treated as autonomous personas, not subservient stage props. Wendy Melvoin's 1964 Rickenbacker 360 guitar opened the song with aggressive strumming, a female instrumentalist establishing herself as the harmonic engine of the anthem. Prince made a radical decision: record the track live during a benefit concert and tell the band they were co-authors of the moment, effectively decentralizing his own solo identity. The 1984 surge of the gender bender aesthetic in mainstream media had created cultural space for this blurring of masculine and feminine traits as a dominant commercial force. Prince's vulnerability wasn't softness, it was power. The song proved that authority could come from surrender, that strength could live inside intimacy. Unlike every artist we've met, Prince didn't fight the industry by claiming his own voice. He fought by expanding the definition of what a voice could be, who could hold a guitar, who could author a moment. The revolution wasn't a solo act. It was a band, a moment, a refusal to separate art from the people who made it possible.